I thought this story would be important to talk about because we need to raise awareness for women that like to go jogging. Um, a sad tragedy, I believe, has happened to this young lady. She is 34 years old. Her name is Eliza Fletcher, and she has two children. She is a married woman. She is she is a kindergarten teacher. And every morning, early in the morning, which is some of the most dangerous times to go jogging for women, early mornings and late nights are dangerous time frames for women to go jogging alone. And we're going to talk about some safety precautions that women should take. But this young lady, she loves to go jogging early in the mornings and she goes by herself. And you would think, when we go jogging outside, we like to wear our gym clothes, and women, we wear like our tank tops and our shorts or whatever, and we innocently are thinking about exercising and nothing more. However, there are dark, sinister people out there with perverted thoughts, perverted, sick minds. You just don't know who you will see out there or approach. And when you're alone and vulnerable going for a jog, it can endanger you. So it's important that we talk about this sad story. Okay, so let's talk about it. The desperate search to find missing Memphis teacher and business Harris Eliza Fletcher has now entered its third day. So this article was written today. So she apparently went missing on Friday morning. There were video surveillance that caught the abduction on camera. And on this camera footage, they captured a 38-year-old man who has a history of kidnapping another woman 20 years ago. He had criminal charges or a conviction allegedly for kidnapping another woman in the past 20 years ago, and he was back out on the road to commit this sad crime. So he was caught on camera with his vehicle driving by the area where she was jogging in her tank top and her shorts, and he violently pulled her into his car and abducted her. And there were some left items there at the scene that showed evidence of the violent abduction. So Eliza, who is 34 years old, she is a mother of two. She was snatched while on an early morning jog near the University of Memphis campus on Friday. One of the dangerous things that we need to understand as ladies, sometimes we think familiar locations are safe. And so we drop our guard down. Like, for example, a university you would think is safe when you're jogging, or, particular places where you normally frequent, you think you're in control and you're safe, but you can't let your guard down no matter how familiar the area is, because there are sick, sinister people out there that are just literally sitting, watching and lurking and looking for someone vulnerable for them to capture and kidnap and take away, unfortunately. So on Saturday, 38-year-old Cleotha Abston was arrested on suspicion of her abduction. That is the name of the gentleman who was suspected of kidnapping her. And like I said, he had been charged with kidnapping or convicted for a charge of kidnapping another person, another young lady, 20 years before. There's no motive has been given, and there are no clues as to Miss Fletcher's whereabouts. Anyone with common sense knows what the motive was. This guy was a complete pervert, a douchebag. He saw her in her clothing, her normal, any woman. So I'm not blaming her. I just want to say you got to go into the mind of these sick people. And somebody as sick as him, he sees a woman, with her figure and the way she's dressed in her gym clothes. And what does he think in his sick, disgusting, perverted mind? Is he's thinking about what? And he is so sick he can't control his urges. There's some sick people out there, guys. Very sick, disgusting men or women, whoever it is. They can't control their urges. And we already know that because of his criminal history. So he sat there watching this young lady and lusting after her in his mind. And instead of having control of his sick perversion, he goes and he violates this woman, kidnaps her, and we already know what he did, guys. I'm sorry. He probably violated her in that way, and unfortunately, I don't believe she's with us. We will talk about why I suspect she's probably not with us anymore, because they did locate a body in the near the area. They yet to identify who it is, but it's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. Law enforcement officers have been combing the nearby area, including searching through dumpsters, ponds, parks to try to find her. And we already know, I'm going to talk about an article later, that they did eventually find a body. So the abduction. The police said that Miss Fletcher was out on her early regular morning jog at around 4:20 a.m. on Friday when the abduction unfolded. Okay, guys. Number one, I know we want to be able to be freely and do what we want as women. I get it. I get it. We should. It's not fair that we have to take all these precautions in society because there are sick people out there like that. But it's not safe for young women or women, period, women to jog at early mornings, especially 4:20 in the morning. The sunlight's not even out most of the time in some areas, especially when you're alone and you're vulnerable. There are sick people, especially in those time frames. There are sick people outside during those hours that are sitting around waiting and just hoping for someone to come by that they can abduct. And in this case, 4:20 in the morning, this sick guy's outside. This is her regular routine. She jogs every day at 4:20 a.m. So my belief is he had already seen her before on prior days. This guy knew her routine. To me, I mean, unless this is just some unlucky day where she's just not a lucky person, I just feel in my gut that this guy had been around watching this woman for a while, for a period of time. He already knew that her schedule was going for this jog every morning around 4:20 a.m. and he sat there and waited for her to come run around, and he executed his attack. That's what I think, you guys. So again, 4:20 a.m. We're going to talk about precautions to take. I know, guys, I get it that women should say we should be able to do what we want. We should. Shouldn't be sick people out there. But unfortunately, it is what it is. And sometimes it doesn't even matter what time it is. Because I myself, I used to, I don't even do this anymore. I just go to the gym because it's not safe. It's sad. But I used to go jogging after work every day. There was this beautiful place I would go jogging, and I would go at reasonable times. I felt it was like around, it was like 6 p.m. and the sunlight was still out. I always make sure the sunlight's out. I always go during a time frame when there's a lot of people jogging, so there's tons of people around. So when I went jogging, it was pretty busy. There was tons of people with me jogging around. I wasn't jogging with them, but I just made sure there was people present. So there was a lot of people jogging. And girl, you know what happened? As I'm jogging in a public place with all these people around, traffic and everything, this guy starts to follow me. Okay? And I was terrified. And I was actually really shocked. I'm like, the nerve and the guts of this man to follow me in a busy park where there's tons of people, witnesses all around, and vehicles driving back and forth. This man starts follow me, right? So I was like, okay, he can't be that stupid. So I cut into the grass, right? I start cutting into the grass to take a shortcut because I'm thinking, maybe he's not really following me, or maybe I'm just being paranoid. So I'm just going to cross over to the other side of the park just to see if he's going to follow me. He continues to follow me. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I start running, and then he starts running. And I am like literally terrified. So this was like going on, guys, for like 15 minutes. I eventually found a group of people, and I like begged them to just stay with me and walk me to my car because I just had to end my exercise. I didn't even get to finish my jog. Like I barely had even arrived there. I only did one lap. So I usually do like a couple laps. I only did one lap around. So I had to end my exercise. I had to have these group of people walk me to my car. And you know what, guys? He continued to follow us with me in a group of people. Okay? And eventually he finally left. But even then, he didn't really leave. Like he just kind of he followed us for a while, and then he went across the street and watched me the entire time until I got into my car and drove off. Isn't that crazy? And that was in a, I would think that's a busy time frame. You know, there's people around. This guy was crazy. Okay. And like this young lady, I had some shorts on and I had a little tank top. And I realized, you know, it's sad. It's so sad that we have to change things about the way we do things. But we may be innocently, freely dressing as we want. But there's some sick people out there and they lust over, you know, women, and they have these sick things in their mind. And then if they are so sick and they don't follow the laws, they will do whatever they can to kidnap and violate you because they're sick. So the one thing I noticed now in this story so far that concerns me is the time frame she goes jogging, and she makes it a routine. When you make it a routine at those early hours, there are sick people out there, stalkers, lurkers that will notice you, memorize your schedule, and catch you off guard. And I believe he was watching her. He knew that she jogged alone. So again, she's a vulnerable victim because she doesn't have anyone around who could defend or protect her. So that was another thing. And, you know, she's, you know, understandably enough, wearing her short and tank tops. You would all think, yeah, that's okay. Everybody jogs and that type of stuff. But in his sick, disgusting mind, he's over there undressing her in his sick head. Just sick. There's people out there like that. So, guys, it's sad. But anyways, let's get on to the article. I just got caught off and I had to share that story. So surveillance footage captured the mother of two running close to the University of Memphis campus when a black 2013 GMC Terrain SUV drove past her. Okay? So he drives past her. He sees her body, sees her figure and all that, and he just immediately can't control his urges. Sick. I just want to say some other stuff, guys, but I'm just going to say sick, disgusting pervert. That's all I can say on this video, but I want to say a whole bunch of other stuff. The SUV pulled up and a man was seen getting out of it before he ran aggressively toward the jogger. This brings back that memory, as I just told you about my story. It makes me think about that guy, and it is the most terrifying thing. And one thing too, when you're a woman and you're a jogger, we'll talk about some safety measures at the end of this, but when you're a woman and you're a jogger, make sure you're looking around. Always look around. Sometimes we get caught up and we put our little earphones on sometimes and we're listening to our music, or we're embedded in our phone, or we're all distracted by you know, what we're doing, that can also make you susceptible to being attacked because you're all caught off guard. So if he ran aggressively toward the jogger, I'm wondering, did she notice him? Did he catch her? You know, what was she doing at the time? You know, and the sad part is, even if she screamed, the time frame, people were asleep. There probably wasn't anyone out. This is a very dangerous time to go jogging as a young lady. A violent struggle broke out, and the man forced Miss Fletcher into the passenger side of the vehicle. Oh my God, that ran chills up my spine. It's so terrifying to be a young lady out. And this is the still footage of the video surveillance. So this is an actual video surveillance of her taking that jog. And you could just see any sick, disgusting, oh God, sick guy like this sees a girl like this, woman like this jogging, and immediately their impulses just captivate them, and they can't control their sick urges. Just sick. So she's jogging here, and that's when he executes his sick attack. So Eliza Fletcher, also known as Liza, was seen wearing a pink running top, purple running shorts, and her blonde brown hair in a bun on her head. So that was what she was last seen. They have the actual video surveillance. And these sick guys, they're so sick. They get so distracted by their sick perversions and their sick urges that they fail to try to control these sick thoughts that they have. And some of them are addicted to, you know what, watching porn. They watch that a lot. And then they watch it so much, and then if they're sick in the head, they start fantasizing about this stuff, and then they want to execute all these sick things that they see on, on these PORN videos, and then they go out trying to find a victim that they can kidnap, basically. And this guy, we already know that's his tendencies because he did it before. And I don't think the last time he did it, he didn't take the person's life. But after he was convicted for that, he felt that I'm not going to leave any witnesses the next time around. So this time, this poor girl, who is unfortunately the subsequent unlucky victim to be captured, I don't think she's here, guys. I wish in my heart she'd be here. Because I'm so sad for this woman and her children. She has 2 kids that are never going to see their parent again and a husband. My heart is so hurt right now. But I just, in the spirit realm, I don't think she's with this guy. I don't think she is. I mean, the thing is, too, they captured this guy and he's not saying anything. That's a red flag. They're asking where she is. He's not saying anything. And they arrested him. So if she's still alive, he would have already said where she was, because that would have, of course, shortened his sentence, possible sentencing and charges that are at stake. But the fact that he's not saying anything, that was a red flag for me too, because he knows she's not sadly with us, guys. I'm so sad. I'm trying not to cry on here. I'm trying to be strong. I'm trying to be strong because this one really hurts. Because, I'm the same thing. I'm an avid runner and a jogger, and I literally had to stop doing it. But you don't have to stop jogging. There's some safety measures you can take. We'll talk about it. Anywho, the car then remained on the scene with the 2 inside. So he captures her, right, guys? He violently grabs her in the car. And during this shuffle, her cell phone is found smashed outside, and then there's a water bottle. He violently brings her in that car, and I think in that car he did some horrific things to her. My God. And the car stayed in that area for 4 minutes because she was fighting him, in my opinion. She was fighting him. She was trying to get out of that car. And that's when I think a very violent and horrific thing happened in that car, to the point that subdued her. And then he drove off, because they said the car remained on the scene with the two inside for around 4 minutes before driving off, the footage shows. So that's what makes me think in my head, she must have been fighting in that car to try to get out. And he did some very horrific things to basically knock her unconscious, I think. And then he drove off. That's my theory. Miss Fletcher's family reported her missing when she failed to return home from her run. The jogger's cell phone and water bottle were discovered at the site of her abduction, and the condition of that phone was damaged. So you can, just by seeing that alone, an officer, it's indicative that there was some type of violent taking of this young lady. That wasn't a good sign to see a phone broken on the scene. Investigators also found a pair of Champion slide shoes. Again, that's another red flag. Her shoes were left there, believed to belong to his shoes, Mr. Abston, which were left behind in the struggle. So she was fighting him, and I'm proud of her for fighting as best as she could. But, she tried to fight him, and she fought him enough to the point where his shoe was left there at the scene. And that was a good thing that she did that, because then they could test the DNA of the shoe and be able to locate, who was there with her at the time of the abduction. Photos of the suspect vehicle were released to the public to help track down the missing mother of 2. And every time I see that mother of 2, this man took away these children's mother. But see, they don't care. All they care about is their sick perversion, and they want to satisfy that sick, disgusting, demonic. There's a demon that lurks in these people. I believe is spiritual. I always go back to the spiritual part of it, based on the Word of God when I say. And it's like a sex demon that I believe is in these people. And because they can't control the urges, they can't control it, or they refuse to control it. You be the judge. Surveillance footage captured the same SUV stalking the area. Did you hear that? the surveillance footage captured the same SUV stalking the area where Miss Fletcher was taken just 24 minutes before the kidnapping. So that's what I'm saying, guys. He had been stalking this girl, this woman. He was there sitting at that area, stalking that particular location 24 minutes before she was kidnapped. So in my opinion, when you put all the facts of the story together, he knew she was coming. He knew she was going to be coming that area because she had regularly made that her routine to jog around the same exact time. So what did he do? He just stalked that area waiting for her to come by. That is sick. And there you see on the video surveillance, there his car is right there, waiting for her to come. That is so just sick. Officers released surveillance video of the GMC Terrain that they believe was used to abduct Miss Fletcher on Friday there. And it's funny because these little sick people out here, they don't realize there's video surveillance all around that area, and it's at a university, so you know they're going to have video surveillance there, but they don't think about any of that stuff. They just they're engulfed in this sick perversion that overtakes them, and they refuse to control them, and they just go out here and they're so selfish and disgusting, and they allow it to control their urges. They allow it to control them, and it becomes all consuming to them, these sick perverts. And they don't care who they affect. They don't care who the person is or whose lives are going to be affected in the future because of their sick perversion, because they're so blinded by that sick thought process. Because like I said, a lot of them are addicted to watching those PORN videos. And they watch it and watch it and watch it, and then they become so obsessed with it, and they think about it all the time, and then they go out and try to find a victim that they can exercise all these sick acts that they try to, they watch on these videos or whatever the websites they watch. So the arrest and charges, Mr. Abston was arrested on Saturday around 24 hours from the teacher's abduction after investigators spotted a vehicle matching the description of the suspect's car. U.S. Marshals found the SUV in a parking lot close to Mr. Abston's home, and it had the same damaged taillight and partial license plate identification seen in the surveillance footage of the abduction, according to the affidavit. And I'm so thankful, you guys, that they found this guy, because had they not, he would have done it again and again and again, and they would have had a serial killer out there kidnapping these girls and violently taking their life. So it's very good, I praise God, that they found this guy, because he would have kept doing it. When officers found Mr. Abston nearby, he tried to flee the scene, but he was arrested and taken in for questioning. On Sunday, Memphis police announced that he had been charged with especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence. Now, see, once he was arrested for that, that's what I'm saying. My spirit tells me I don't think that she's with us, because he would have already said where she was. He would have admitted, and then they would have just, he would have thought he would have got at least less charges, because the longer she's gone, eventually they will presume that she is no longer with us, and then they will advance it to murder charges already. So, I mean, one can argue that he's just a criminal and would just continue to lie. One can argue that, because we can't really get into this sick guy's disgusting, selfish, perverted man's mind. But I mean, one can argue he won't say anything at all and just keep silent, period. Doesn't matter if she's alive or not. Other people would argue that reasonably, to get charges lowered, he probably would admit where she was. But yeah, who knows, guys? Really, you can't really get into these sick people's minds. On Monday afternoon, Memphis police charged Cleotha Abston and three additional charges: identity theft, theft of property under $1,000, fraudulent use of a credit card. So after he violently kidnaps this young lady and did whatever, who knows what to her, he takes her credit card and her identification and goes and spends her money. Oh my gosh, the nerve of this sick, disgusting man. I hope he never gets out. I hope he never gets out because I know our judicial system is so lenient on criminals, understandably enough, given our Constitution and constitutional rights and being innocent until proven guilty. I get it. But once he is proven guilty, we got video surveillance of him doing the act. I hope he never gets out because he is sick and he will go and keep doing it. And we know that he will keep doing it because he did it 20 years ago. This man's never going to change. If he didn't change within that 20-year time span of kidnapping a prior victim, he's not going to ever change. He will continue to do this. According to the affidavit, Mr. Abston was spotted cleaning the inside of his car because there is allegations that they found blood inside that vehicle, which is why I believe, you guys, there was a violent struggle within that car because they found blood in there. There's another news report out there that I read. I read so many of these reports, guys, that I can't keep up with all of them, but I know there was an indication that there was blood in the car. So they probably did one of those, what's that called, guys? Put it in the chat. You know, when they spray that substance on the car and then the glows or whatever, it lights up, and then that's when they could find where there was traces of blood. That's what I think they did. They did like one of those, and they found traces of blood. So they found this little sick guy cleaning the inside of his car and washing his clothes in the sink in the aftermath of the abduction, trying to cover up his sick mess. And look at this beautiful lady. I'm so mad right now that she's gone. I'm so mad. I'm so angry that she couldn't be able to freely jog and enjoy her exercise and have to endure this horrible violence because of a sick man who couldn't control his urges. Sick. Oh man, it makes me so sad to see this beautiful woman gone. 34 years old. And they just say Eliza was snatched while jogging in the early morning hours, Friday morning. A witness. Ooh, so there's a witness. There's always somebody watching, guys. Always somebody watching. A witness and the suspect's brother. The brother telling on him. Good job, brother. I'm proud of the brother because a lot of family members want to cover up what their sick siblings do or family members do. And that is just selfish. Sometimes you got to look beyond blood, blood relation, and do what is right. And so I'm proud of the brother because the suspect's brother said they saw him behaving oddly at his house and undergoing the clean later on Friday. So his brother saw him acting weird, cleaning up stuff, cleaning the car. He's like, what is going on with this dude? He obviously is up to no good. You know, that intuition inside, you kind of looking at how somebody's acting oddly and you're like, this person's up to no good. I don't know what it is, but he's acting weird. That's what the brother was basically saying. Even after the clean, authorities said they have recovered blood. What did I say? They recovered blood and other evidence inside the vehicle. So this guy, he tried to clean up all the blood, but he couldn't get all of it because, like I said, that violent struggle was so horrific in that car that the blood was all over the place. So he couldn't get all the blood up. I mean, yeah, he got most of it, yes, but there was traces left. And you guys know how hard it is to clean blood. I mean, if anyone has ever had an injury or something and, you're trying to clean if it's dry blood, it's really difficult to get it up if you've ever had like an injury or something. But anyways, they recovered blood and other evidence inside the vehicle, leading them to believe Miss Fletcher suffered a serious injury. See that? A serious injury. Yep, Irina, they did. And I said that earlier. I'm going to go over the body part, finding the body after this article. But yeah, they did find a body. So yeah, that's what I was saying. I felt like she tried to fight him in that car and he beat her so bad. He just, who knows if he had, I think he probably had weapons in that car because I think this was all planned out because the fact that he sat there for 23 minutes before she even came, I think he already came with, tools or whatever he needed to execute this sick, violent act. So in that car for those 4 minutes, he violently just seriously beat her so bad. And she just to the point where she was knocked out. And then after that, within that 4-minute time frame, then he drives off. Okay. That's what I think. Just looking at this facts, there's blood in the car. They think she suffered a serious injury. That keyword serious, that means there was a lot of blood that was throughout that car. She bled a lot. Cell phone location data has also placed Mr. Abston at the scene of the abduction. And the champion slides had been tied to him through both DNA evidence and surveillance footage, authorities said. So there's camera footage, you guys. His shoe was left at the scene with DNA on it. I mean, there is cell phone location data. This guy is done. They have all the evidence they need. They have so much overwhelming amount of evidence, and they now found a body, so they're going to be able to do tests on that body and get the DNA. They have not said it's her, but I just, it was in near the same area where she was abducted. So my belief, my theory is I think it possibly, sadly, may be her, possibly, in my opinion. Mr. Abston has reportedly refused to tell investigators where Miss Fletcher is or what happened to her. Of course, because he knows what he did. He knows what he did. It's a consciousness of guilt at this point. He is now being held on bail for $500,000 ahead of his first court appearance on Tuesday. I think he should be held at a no bond. This guy is really dangerous, and he should not be released to the public. He will do it again. He will do it again, you guys. I think they should make it a no bond. Hopefully, now that they found a body, and if they identify who that body is, I hope that they will raise the bond. I really hope so, because this man is sick. He is sick, and he is a potential serial killer if they keep letting this guy out. The suspect's brother was also arrested and charged following the police search of their home. What? So the brother was in on it too? Dang. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. He wasn't in on it. She was arrested for drugs. So Mario Abston, that's the brother. He's charged with 1 count of possession with the intent to distribute heroin, and 1 count with the intent to distribute fentanyl and felony possession of a firearm. So he's doing his own separate crimes. They both just no good people, period. Both of them. Sick. The suspect, let's talk about this suspect, guys. Oh, God, I don't even want to look at his ugly little stinky face. It is not yet clear if Mr. Abston knew his alleged victim prior to Friday's abduction or if she was targeted at random. I think she was targeted, of course. However, the 38-year-old has a prior kidnapping conviction and was released from prison. Did y'all hear that? Less than 2 years ago, after serving 20 years behind bars. Dang. So this guy, he abducted someone. Maybe he even killed the person, because now he got 20 years. That's a long time, guys. I don't know. Maybe he did kill somebody before. But it doesn't say a murder conviction. So I think it had to have been a kidnapping conviction where this girl was probably violently beaten to almost like attempted murder, possibly. And he just got out. He only was released from prison less than 2 years ago after serving 20 years behind bars. So this man was in prison for 20 years after kidnapping someone, and he still didn't learn his lesson. He still didn't learn. He was only out for 2 years and went out and kidnapped another woman and then ended up killing her. And that's why I think he killed her, because the first time he was convicted, there was a witness that was alive, and she could testify and thereby solidify his conviction. So all he learned during that 20 years was that don't leave anyone alive. That's what he learned in prison. He didn't learn from his decision. He didn't learn from that horrible choice and was changed after he got out of prison. No, all he thought was, well, once I get out, if I find a vulnerable victim, don't leave any witnesses. Basically, that's what he learned. It's just sick. This guy served 20 years for kidnapping someone. Gets out 2 years later, kidnaps and murders, in my opinion, sadly enough, the victim. Just sick. Sick. Oh my God, I'm so angry right now. That's why I think, because he already has a prior kidnapping conviction, he's already served 20 years behind bars, I think they should raise it to a no bail. He has prior history. This man should not get any form of bail because he's just going to keep doing he's going to keep doing it. He's not going to change. Never, period. He's just a sick person. He feels that when he wants something, he will take it. That's the kind of mindset this sick man is his brain isn't wired properly, clearly. He's probably a sociopath or psychopath or whatever. Probably, yeah, I think probably a psychopath. In an eerily similar situation to the kidnapping of Miss Fletcher, Mr. Abston bundled a Memphis attorney into his vehicle in an early morning attack. Did you hear that? He did the same thing 20 years ago. The same way that he kidnapped Eliza Fletcher was the same way he kidnapped a Memphis attorney. He kidnapped a Memphis attorney and he bundled this Memphis attorney into his vehicle in the early morning attack. And he did it at the same time frame, early morning hours. So this sick bastard, I'm sorry to say it, I'm mad. I gotta excuse my language, guys. I'm just mad right now. Forgive me. Pray for me. This sick man waits around in the morning hours. Okay? He waits in the morning hours looking for vulnerable victims. That's his MO, his pattern. Okay? He sits around doing it. And 20 years ago, he kidnapped a Memphis attorney, violently put that person in his car, and who knows what he did. Probably attacked her. She ended up, luckily, she made it out. But let's see what happens. They're going to give us the details right now, so we're going to read it. On May 24th in 2000, at around 2 a.m. in the morning, notice those early hours he's lurking out. 2 a.m. in the morning, Mr. Abston approached Kemper Durand in his vehicle. Okay, he approached the attorney at 2 a.m. in the morning. I wonder why the attorney was out that early in the first place. What are they doing at 2 a.m. in the morning? Anyway, so he approached Kemper Durand in his vehicle, got out, and forced the attorney into the trunk of his car. Oh my gosh. That's got to be terrifying. And at 2 a.m. in the morning, guys, you notice how scary and eerily similar the same facts in this case with Eliza. 4:20 in the morning, he violently puts her into the car. And now back in 2000, he did the same thing to an attorney and forced that attorney at 2 a.m. in the morning into his trunk. And this is the sick guy. Just take a good look at this sick man. So sick. When I look this guy into his eyes, just look at his eyes real quick, guys. He looks soulless. He doesn't have any form of emotions inside of this. He's a walking shell. These people are very dangerous. A person that walks like this, that has no soul in their eyes, they're soulless in the eyes, into the people of the eyes. These people are very dangerous because they lack any form of emotions. They have no empathy. No empathy at all for human life. They just see human life as just a rag doll. That's it, period. To do whatever they want with it, however they want, when they please. Be very, very wary of these sick people. And if you are a person that has discernment, you could test the spirits of people. You could feel their aura when you're around them. And if you feel that eerie aura that you could see in the eyes of this guy, I would get away from that person as soon as possible, because you could feel the aura. You will be able to feel it. Believe you me, I've seen people like this and felt that same aura and got out of there, got away from the person. But this is the sick guy. Oh, goodness. Sorry, guys, I got a little emotional earlier. Please have mercy on me, guys. It's just this story really captivated me. It was so sad, so please just be patient with me, guys. Cleotha Abston was arrested on Saturday around 24 hours on from the teacher's abduction. So within a day later, they found him. Good thing they had camera footage in that area. He then drove the victim. So we're going back. We're talking about the prior abduction. So stay with me. They're talking about what happened in 2000 with the attorney. He forced her into the truck of his car. Okay, so we're still on that story. He then drove the victim around for several hours. Oh no, you guys, it wasn't a woman, it was a man he abducted. So it makes me think now, rewind, rewind, rewind. Maybe he has a monetary motive for why he kidnaps these people. I thought it was, perverted, sick perversion, but I'm thinking now, because look what he did with this guy. He then drove the victim around for several hours before taking him to an ATM where he robbed him. And then in this current situation, he is also arrested for Eliza Fletcher's situation, where he used her credit card. He was spending her money. So I'm wondering if he has some type of monetary. Is that the monetary motive for why he kidnaps people early in the morning and get these people when they're vulnerable? I'm starting to wonder if that's a motive at play with this guy, because you just never know with these sick, disgusting men. But still, I don't know. Still, that story with Eliza, that one, that can go either way. But I do think there was the monetary motive, because look, this guy from 2000, he takes this guy around, and then he takes him to an ATM, robs him there. The victim was saved when he shouted for help from a passerby, prompting his attacker to flee the scene. So that prior victim, screamed luckily and was able to be saved. I wish Eliza would have screamed, because it looks like this guy, when people scream, he flees the scene. So I just wish she would have just yelled out, just screamed or something. Maybe he would have left her alone. Maybe. It's so sad. But anyways, this victim was saved because he screamed, and then there was a passerby around. So this sick guy flees the scene, okay? Mr. Abston was later arrested and pleaded guilty in 2001 to especially aggravated kidnapping. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison and was released November 2020. Wow. This man was only released for 2 years and couldn't even behave himself. Wow. It's like it's his MO. And like I said, he learned something new this time. He learned, I can't leave any witnesses. Because the last time I left a witness, I ended up in prison for 20 years. That's why I don't think she's here, guys. I wish she was. I wish. If I could just, if I had some type of power, I wish she'd be here. That's my prayer. But I don't think so. With all the things that are being released right now, and the body they just found in the area where the abduction was, like near the area, close in proximity, it just doesn't sound like she's here. But anyways, the victim, Miss Fletcher, is well known in the local community as both a respected teacher and the heiress to a local business fortune. So she comes from a very rich family. They are rich, guys. I mean rich. They got the old money. She comes from a very affluent family. The 34-year-old is the granddaughter of the late local businessman and philanthropist Joseph Joe Orgel III, who founded the Memphis hardware supply company Orgel. And see, now this is really starting to make sense, guys. As I read this article, please forgive me for, kind of working through my analysis on the live. So if it changes during the live, please forgive me, and just know that we are analyzing this story together, and things can unfold and change as information is being reviewed. It looks like this was all all motivated by money. What if he knew who Miss Fletcher was? What if he already knew that she had this rich background and comes from a very affluent family, a local businessman, Mr. Joseph Orgel III, and he particularly targeted her because he knew that he could get money from her. I mean, a significant amount of money too. But then again, if that's the motive, wouldn't you think that he would kidnap for ransom? Like, say, I have your granddaughter, give me this amount of money. So I don't know. It could go either way. You guys tell me in the chat what you think the guy's motive was. But now I'm starting to think this guy was all about money. Definitely money. And it's just kind of interesting. It's like a coincidence that he happens to kidnap the granddaughter of a wealthy businessman. It's just, interesting. So this guy, her grandfather, Joseph Orgil III, founded the Memphis hardware supply company Orgil. The private family business is now worth $3.2 billion. Dang! Did you hear that? I gotta sit and just soak that up right now, guys. If I pause, I'm taken aback by that number right now. The private family ran business is now worth $3.2 billion. Oh my gosh. And guys, I'm reading this article, just to be fair. I'm reading this article for the first time with you guys. I read like a couple of other short little articles, but I didn't realize this article had all this information in it. So you're getting my reaction as I read it with you guys for the first time. So I'm just taken aback. Dang, $3.2 billion? What? What? And employs 5,500 people, with the Orgel family well known in the local area. This is a very prominent family. I mean, they employ 5,500 people and they make 3.2 billion. Wow, they were very wealthy. Very wealthy. Man, this is sad. I feel sad for the family too. Oh my God, I saw pictures of the family and they look so distraught. They don't even know what to do. Oh, we're going to see pictures of them, guys. Okay. The company website describes Orgil as the world's largest independently owned hardlines distributor, providing retailers across North America and in more than 60 countries throughout the world access to over 75,000 products and industry-leading retail services. Instead of working in the family business, Miss Fletcher became a local kindergarten teacher. Aww, I'm so sad, guys, for Miss Fletcher. Man, this is hard. This story, for some reason, just really captivated me. She is married to Richard Fletcher the third, and they have 2 boys. Oh my gosh, imagine those boys. They got to wake up, and their mom is gone. So here's the family. Look how sad the family looks. Look at the mom. Oh my God, when I saw her face, and look, I just look at their face, and it feels like the wind was knocked out of them. You know, when a loved one is missing like that, it's the worst pain you could ever think of, the worst. So it feels so much empathy for this family right now. The teacher's family begged for help in finding her in an emotional press conference on Saturday. So this was them here, and they were speaking at the press conference. You can just see how devastated they look. Oh, dear God, please help this poor family out. Please, Lord. But that's crazy, guys, that we learned that new information about her family, that they're billionaires. This story is even more like, wow. Okay, so her family has offered $50,000 for her return and begged for help in finding her in an emotional press conference on Saturday. We believe someone knows what happened and can help, her uncle Mike Keeney said as Mr. Fletcher wiped tears from his eyes. Oh no, Lord. Oh, I pray they get justice, Lord. I pray. More than anything, we want to see Liza returned home safely, as we all do. We wish, but it's not sounding good right now. Miss Fletcher was last seen wearing a pink jogging top, purple running shorts. She is described as 5'6" tall, weighs 137 pounds, has brown hair, and has green eyes. Now, as we have delved into this article, the motive behind the kidnapping has changed, because now we're looking at more of the facts. We're looking at his prior history and his motive related to kidnapping the attorney in the past. It looks like from all of the stuff we read from this article that this man targets affluent people. An attorney, they have, attorney is associated with being affluent. You think attorney, you think, wow, this person must make a lot of money. Same thing with this young lady here. He had to have known something about her. He targets people with large, or what he thinks to be, has large financial resources that he can take from. So that's sad. That's a whole different story that kind of delved from this story as we read the article. But I still want to caution people that everything that I talked about in the beginning of this video all still carry weight, because if you are a jogger out there, you need to be careful and understand that there are also perverts out there lurking and watching you. They are. I mean, there's been a lot of stories out there with similar fact patterns of young ladies jogging and end up being kidnapped and brutally violated in that way and murdered. There's a lot of those out there. This is not, the first story of a jogger being kidnapped. So that is one of the motives behind other criminals out there. It may not have been for this story. I don't think that was the motive for this story. I think this guy just was does things for financial reasons. When money gets tight, he goes out and tries to find affluent people and takes their money, basically. That's what I think. That's my theory. But there's still a cautionary tale for those women out there who like to go jogging. Number one, let's talk about those before we move on to the rest of the story, because there's still a lot more to cover. But the number one thing that you need to think about if you're a jogger, the time frames in which you jog. Be very careful of that. Be careful of jogging early morning hours and late night hours. I would say don't do it during those time frames. Just don't. If you're a woman, don't do it. That's what I would say. But if you are going to still do it, run in groups. Always have groups with you. Do not run alone in those early morning or night hours. Go with a group of people, because when you're with a group of people, more than likely those predators are not going to want to mess with you. They're not going to mess with a group of people. They like to find people who are alone, who are vulnerable, and they always are out during those weird time frames. Number two, always carry a weapon. Always. You need to have either pepper spray, a taser gun. If you are trained in using firearms, bring your carry-on with you, but always have a weapon. If you're going to jog alone, you need to have some type of protection on you at all times. We are in a generation now where we're just not safe out there jogging. There's different motives. People have different reasons for doing what they do. Although this story is more, I think, is about financial motive. There are lurkers out there and perverted, sick people who will undress you in their mind, because, we're jogging, we're wearing our cute tank tops, we're wearing our shorts, and there's sick people out there who they obsess over these things and they can't control their urges, and they go out and they do these very heinous crimes. So those are the things I think we can learn from this tragedy. That's why I really wanted to cover it, because I know there's a lot of young ladies out there that like to go jogging, like myself. I love jogging, and I thought we really need to talk about this, because I'm praying we save some few lives that even watch this video, okay? So huge break in the Eliza Fletcher case as authorities find the car and they make an arrest. Let's see if there's one article I found where they found the body. Let's see, is this the one? Is this the one that I found? Everything we know. I have so much articles up. Okay, here it is, guys. Okay, so just an update on the story. So they had been searching for her since Friday. Friday, she goes missing. For the whole weekend, they've been looking for her. Now, today, they found a body. Okay, a body was found near the location of Eliza Fletcher's suspect's alleged cleaning. Okay, so this is not looking good. They found a body in the area, near the area where she was abducted, and it's not looking good. And they found blood in the car, so she had a very severe injury. And if she didn't get any medical treatment for that injury, there's no chance she's probably not alive. So let's keep reading. A body was found in South Memphis Monday afternoon in the midst of a search for an abducted mother. The body has not been identified, and police would not confirm why they were searching the area. But Eliza Fletcher, who was abducted during her morning routine jog on Friday, is the suspect of an intense search. Police say they located the body at 5:07 p.m. in the 1600 block of Victor. It's a half mile from where the police believe the only suspect in her disappearance. Okay? It's only a half mile away where the suspect was. So we already know. Let's go back to that. It's a half mile where they found the body at 5:07 p.m. It was located a half mile walk, just a half mile walk from where the police believe the only suspect in her disappearance that was captured on video surveillance and DNA found on his flip-flop, whatever he found at the scene, or shoe, whatever it was he left. Cleotha Abston was scrubbing his clothes and vehicle last week. What do you guys think that body is now? The facts are pointing to it. It's likely her, sadly. She's found in the area where he's found cleaning off the evidence, cleaning his clothes, cleaning his car, and her body's in the same, only half a mile from the area. Yeah, see, these criminals are not really smart. They're not really smart. That's why it's so easy to figure them out, and criminals always get caught. You always wonder, wow, these law enforcement are really good at what they do. Well, because criminals aren't so smart, okay? So he's found cleaning up the evidence only half a mile, just a walk away from where her body is found, I believe. I'm just saying allegedly. We don't know who it was. It was not identified yet, but just looking at the story here that we're reading, it's not sounding too good to me. You guys be the judge, though. I'm just giving my opinion on this. I don't know what's what, but it just looks like to me. You know that saying, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Well, these facts just seem to point to the fact that it's not looking good. Abston, 38, was arrested and charged with especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence in Fletcher's abduction. Oh gosh, I feel so sad about this story, guys. I really had to come talk to you guys because you guys be helping me feel better when I talk to you guys. Oh, these stories really captivate me, and then I talk to you guys and I just feel a little better about, because it just makes me feel so sad to hear these promising, beautiful people's lives ripped from them because of just sick people. Okay, let's read this article though. Abducted Eliza Fletcher, Memphis teacher's husband, spotted day after her disappearance. So people started trying to blame the husband at first. They tried to think it was him when he had nothing to do with it. But anyway, Eliza Fletcher's husband, Richard Fletcher III, was spotted a day after his wife was abducted. I don't know why they messing with the husband, but anyway, they usually think it's the husband. The Memphis Police Department's search for abducted kindergarten Eliza Fletcher continued Saturday, more than 24 hours after her disappearance. Fletcher, an avid athlete, was on a run early Friday morning on Central Avenue near the University of Memphis when she was abducted and forced into an SUV that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation identified as a GMC Terrain. Okay, let's get to the husband, y'all. We don't want to hear all this review. We're trying to get to the husband. Okay, so here she is. We got that video surveillance photo, and there's that beautiful smile of Eliza there. Oh, poor young lady. She did not deserve this. So anyway, Fletcher's husband, Richard Fletcher III, was outside his family Memphis home Saturday morning with several other people. Fletcher initially reported his wife missing Friday morning, 7:45 a.m., when she never returned from her run. And there he is. I feel so sad, you guys, for the husband. Can you imagine? That is so sad. My heart goes out to him. Lord knows what he is feeling, that his wife, man, is gone, guys, gone. And now he's got to try to sit down those two boys, and those boys are probably crying for mommy, wondering what's going on with mom? Where's mom? Mom's been gone. Where's mom? And he has to sit them down and try to explain. See, these sick people, they don't care about how it affects people. You looked in that photo that we looked at, you could see that the man doesn't have a soul, period. But now we have this poor husband here who has to try to sit down his two boys and try to explain what's going on. And that's the hardest thing to ever put a person, position in that type of position. Eliza's husband, Richard Fletcher, was spotted Saturday morning with several other people outside his family Memphis home. So there he is. Family police found some of Fletcher's belongings at the scene. They were also told that a male approached Fletcher and forced her into a dark SUV, which we already know about because we talked about it. Here is the SUV towed from home of missing mom. So I wonder why they're towing this. The home of missing mom? Okay, let's see. They said on Friday afternoon, authorities were seen removing a white Jeep parked outside Fletcher's home, according to Fox Memphis. I wonder why they were towing her vehicle, because her vehicle wasn't a part of the incident. I think maybe they were trying to cover all of their bases and just trying to see if maybe the father was involved or not. They probably was thinking he was involved at first. Who knows? So they probably wanted to tow her car just to clean it up and check evidence of the car to see if there was any evidence of a struggle in that car. Who knows? I think they were just covering their bases, because I'm like, why would they tow her car when her car wasn't a part of it? Maybe they had not reviewed the video surveillance at that time frame. Who knows? Because I don't understand why they took her car. But anyway, Fletcher is described as a white woman. Okay, they described who she was, blonde hair. We already know about that. So we have so many people affected by this loss. We have the whole family. We have, the mother, the father, and so forth, and the uncle. But we also have this man here, poor husband, and the two boys that have to now figure out how to navigate this world without the person they love so dearly. Oh, gosh, guys, my heart, I feel like someone knocked the wind out of me. Like, I'm so irritated by this case. But anyways, let's watch this video real quickly, and then I want to go into the chat to talk to my YouTube family to see what you guys are saying.
When we don't have the proper staff.
Okay, we don't want to hear about your ad right now. We have some more important things we want to do. Hold on, guys. We'll wait for this little ad to go away. Okay. Is this? Oh, no, they're going to give me another ad? I don't know if YouTube has made it to where you have two ads now. Oh, gosh. Come on. Okay.
Breaking news now out of Memphis that's ongoing. And this is a tweet from Memphis police. They say at 5:07 p.m. officers in the 1600 block of Victory located a deceased party. The identity of this person and the cause of the death is unconfirmed at this time. The investigation is ongoing. Once additional information is available, we will provide an update. Here is a live picture out there of Memphis as we've been following a story due to the disappearance of a jogger. They've made an arrest out there in Memphis. We're not 100% sure if this is the same investigation. We're still waiting for Memphis police to give us an update on that. But here's what we do know now from our Fox 13 affiliate out there in Memphis. Kayla Solomon says police focused on this area. Here we're looking at live, just walking distance away from Cleo Abston's brother's home in South Memphis. Cleotha Abston is the person they have arrested and charged with.
So did you hear that? So the body's found within walking distance from the brother's house or residence. So yeah, the facts are tending to really point to this body probably being Eliza.
Kidnapping so close to their brother's home in South Memphis. The streets blocked off, and they include several streets, Dyson, Person, and South Orleans. And this is the same wooded area we observed. They observed that search yesterday. They're also looking at an intersection on Chestnut Avenue, dozens of police vehicles there. as we continue to try to find more information. But certainly a lot of police activity there from Memphis as this jogger's disappearance in the last few days. Of course, new charges have been filed against the man accused of abducting a Memphis mother and teacher, Eliza Fletcher. Fletcher was kidnapped while running at around 4:30 a.m. on Friday, September 2nd, near the University of Memphis, according to Memphis police. 2 days later, on September 4th, yesterday, Cleotha Abston was arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping there. As you can see, our shot going down a little bit. This is what we do here on Live Now from Fox. Certainly, live pictures go in and out as we're trying to get the latest breaking news. We're going back to the tweet from the Memphis Police Department as we still await more information out of Memphis.
Okay, so I want to talk about, there's an expert that says they think it was planned, which I agree with.
We want to talk right now with TJ Ward, a private investigator. Police have not been able to get much information out of this suspect, TJ, but do you think that with what was found in and around the vehicle, in addition to people who live in and around that neighborhood where she was last seen jogging, could investigators put this case together and put charges squarely on this suspect?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Yes, I believe so. And this was a very, very quick investigation that I knew from the beginning was not random. This was a planned kidnapping, and right now we don't know who else is involved. But the witnesses that's gotten information and given it to the police was helpful, and the information from the DNA that they got knowing what vehicle he was in. Now they can now they can start pulling some other things together. He's not going to talk, so the whole thing now is trying to get cadaver dogs and trying to get the DNA and some information, and maybe others, keeping this out in the public, maybe others saw something that may help law enforcement find out where she had put him, and where the body may be. Cadaver dogs, and so this is where we are right now, and keep interviewing other witnesses and family members and so on and so forth. I'm sure they have taken his computer and things from his home and are analyzing it right now in efforts to know that this is probably a plan. This was a planned abduction, and also to try to find out what else they can find that's going to lead to where her body may be.
Exactly.
And it is your belief, because you're saying some things that we hadn't heard so far, that she is definitely deceased.
I'm not saying she's definitely deceased. She's missing, but I'm sure at this point, this gentleman has got history of, and what we do know that she was injured or whatever when she was taken. We know that there apparently was
Look at this
blood or
sick
something
man.
in the car that has coming up. But
Just sick.
you have to take and look at the worst in order to hopefully find out. Because this guy's not going to give you any information of where
Right.
he's put her or where she is or whatever. So we have to pull cadaver dogs in and hope we can locate some information and hopefully find her.
And you are basing the fact that this is not a random attack on the affidavit about the crime?
I think this was a planned. This was planned. This was not an abduction that was just happened
Right.
at 4:30 in the morning. I think that he had planned or who he was going to take or what happened to her. I think he knew. Just as a matter of fact, that he just got out of jail from somebody else that he had victimized.
All right, TJ Ward, thank you so much for your insight.
Yeah, I wanted you guys to hear that private investigator, because I agree with him. I think this was planned out. He knew this girl's routine. She regularly runs around 4:20 a.m. in the morning. That's her regular routine. He'd been stalking her. Also, he probably already looked her up, knowing that who her family is. I mean, they're billionaires. Also, the fact that he was there 25 minutes or 23 to 25 minutes before she was found running over there. So he was stalking the particular area. He purposely went there waiting for her. So, I just sad. What do you guys think about this sad story? Yeah, like PM Channel said, hi PM Channel. PM Channel said there are thousands of missing people in the world experiencing what this family is enduring. It's an evil world. It is. It is. You got to take precautions. You got to take precautions because you just never know. Serial killer. What type of cereal do you like? No, I'm not talking about cereal. I'm not talking about food right now. I'm talking about him being, never mind, forget it. I happen to be a kindergarten teacher as well. My condolences go out to her family. I'm just tuning in. Hi, God's favor. Good to see you. Yeah, so sad. It probably really hits home for you too, knowing that you're a kindergarten teacher. So sad. I mean, she could have easily worked for the family business, but she chose to pursue her dreams of being a kindergarten teacher, and just such a wholesome young lady, and sad that she's gone. I can tell from the comments I've seen from hostile men that they are capable of domestic violence. Exactly. Exactly. Let's see what these people are saying up here, guys. I might have to block some people. um, they said they found her. Yeah, I think they did. She's part of every 5 hours, unfortunately. Oh no, so sad. 4:20 a.m. Yeah, Sherry Berry. Hi, Sherry Berry. Yeah, it was early in the morning. Mm-hmm. A valuable member of society. I stopped going to the park alone for walks. Exactly, beautiful. That's what I did. Hi, beautiful. You're right, beautiful. I stopped going too. I used to go every day, especially during COVID time when it was like COVID and we couldn't really go to the gyms. I would go to the parks and jog. And then when that incident happened that I told you guys about earlier, I just stopped going because I realized it's just we're living in a dark world. Hi, Purple Love. How are you? It's always so wonderful to see you. Yeah, Sherry Berry, I honestly agree with Sherry Berry. She said, it's sad, but please don't go jogging in the park. Sick people out there. He had been watching her. I kind of agree with Sherry Berry. It sucks, guys, that we have to change our lifestyles around and adjust. But I've heard of so many stories of women jogging and getting abducted and sometimes being violated in the other way, not for money reasons. This was a special circumstance because this guy was out there looking for financial gain. But there's those stories out there of women jogging and getting kidnapped, and there's predators out there who look for vulnerable women like that. So I'm sorry to be an extremist. I feel like I'm an extremist, but I just don't think it's safe. But anyways, if you're going to do it, take some of the safety precautions that we talked about a little earlier in the video. Was she in a domestic violence relationship or was this random? Hi, Purple Love. So yeah, Purple Love. It wasn't domestic violence. It was just a sick guy who I think was targeting her. I think probably because of her affluent background. I really do. It doesn't, to me, it's just such a coincidence that he happens to kidnap a woman of a family from a family that are billionaires. I don't know. It doesn't sound coincidental to me. And just the facts of him staying in the area, waiting for her to come 23 minutes before, and the time frame, just all of it, and the fact that she does this routine every day. He knew he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He went there with the specific intent to target her. Sherry Berry says you can buy a taser gun or pepper spray. Still, it's just awful. Yeah, I agree with you, Sherry Berry. Bring a weapon if you are going to jog. I don't think it's safe to do it anymore. Just go to a gym because at least you'll be in a public place. At least you'll be indoors and you'll be safe. But if you're going to still jog, make sure you have some type of weapon. Never go without a weapon. And don't jog with your earphones on. Do not do that because you'll be distracted and you will not be aware of your surroundings. And it's best to just go in a group of people. Try to have friends that are all kind of joined together to go jogging. That's the safest way to do it if you're going to jog. Yeah, you like Sherry Berry said, you need something to protect yourself. You do. I agree. Purple Love, given our judicial system, you said why they released him after the first victim. Well, given our judicial system, the law requires that they go through the judicial system and that their case is analyzed for the particular sentence that they will serve based upon the facts and the other factors outlined. And under the law and under their analysis of the factors of that case, he was sentenced to 20 years and he served those 20 years and, you know, he was released according to the law. So they couldn't keep him in there forever based upon their analysis or what they did to determine his sentence for that first case. So he, you know, he served his time and he got out. They had no choice but to let him out. But this time, I don't think he's going to ever get out. So this time he'll be in there for life, I think. Yeah, she's a mom, beautiful. She has 2 sons. So sad. I do think it's demonic. I do think so. Yeah, Purple Love, I agree with you. She said, I think he beat her and gave her a blunt force trauma for fighting back. I agree with Purple Love. That's my theory, too. I definitely think that's probably what happened. I would fight back, too. I would scratch, kick. I would be screaming. One thing you should do if someone tries to attack you, scream as loud as you can. And also, you can also get those little, there's like a little alarm, little button thing you can put on your keychain. And if you press it, it makes this huge loud sound. It's like, sounds like a car alarm, basically. If you get one of those, you can press that too. That will scare off people because anything that draws attention to them, they get alarmed and they flee. But I just don't think it's safe to even to be out, you know, early morning hours, like 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. Don't be out alone in those hours or even. All right, guys, I can go on and on with these comments. We'll be here all day, so I will end it here. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys chiming in the chat and being active. I really, really appreciate it. Guys, let me know what you think about this story. Please, if you're believers, pray for this family. My heart is so broken for them right now. I'm going to go pray for them right now because this is such a sad, sad story in conclusion. We don't know the identification of the body, but based on the circumstances, it's not looking good. All right, love you guys. Take care. God bless.